Hey everyone, we should be live now. I've got cameras in the oops. I've got cameras in the wrong spot on this overlay here. I'll get that fixed here. We got a lot to talk about today, but while I'm fixing these cameras, let's go ahead and do some introductions here. Got AR Slayer joining me, and Xavier's gonna join here in a minute. So I guess while I'm getting these cameras moved around, do you want to tell people what are you playing right now in terms of gears? I guess ranked, PvE, quick match.
Yeah, no, I actually just got back into a lot of ranked. I got a better internet plan, so luckily I've been able to actually get through matches without being lagged out and banned for most of the season, because that's what happened last season for me, unfortunately. So I put a lot of PvE in. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of King of the Hill, a little bit of Free for All, and then definitely the weekly events as they pop up. Wish they would do something new, but
yeah, I've been playing a few private lobbies with friends, doing my dailies, a little bit of quick match, but I haven't been playing too much. I'm really waiting for this this mid drop to come along in order to get me excited, get me back into things.
definitely.
So that is going to be one of the topics we talk about today. I think one of the last topics we're going to have is drop 2 impressions and like what we think of what's been announced so far. So Nash Omens was not able to join us. He had something come up. We'll get him in on a future stream. And Xavier's away from his computer for a second. He said he'd be right back. In the meantime, let's go ahead and start on the first topic I've listed here, which is playlist organization. This is one that I've been pushing for a while, especially with the Coalition recently announcing that in Op7 they're going to have some playlist organization changes. I guess I'll start just, Slayer, what do you want to see in terms of changes to the playlist? A lot of the community's been asking for changes, like moving some modes between ranked and quick match, or changing the way certain things work. What do you personally want to see?
Well, in my opinion, there's too many quick play options right now. Currently, I feel like a majority of the options should be in ranked, just to keep people in, keep the quitters out, keep games full. Since we are at a lower player base right now, you kind of have to force games to stay full, or else you are going to get into a lot of those social games where you're going up against 2-3 bots and 2 real players. It's just not fun.
Yeah, well, playing against the bots isn't great, but so you're more of on the rank side, I guess. I'm more of the quick match side. I prefer quick match because I want to get those quick matches, not necessarily the like casual matches, but I want to get matches in, like, and get through as many matches as possible. Bots are unfortunate, but I prefer bots over having like a 5v1.
Right. No, I got you there. I don't know. How do I say it? The quick play, I feel like they could keep all the game modes there, but the options would have to be more limited. Like have a more, circulating playlist that holds more of the game modes in one solid option for people, whereas ranked, has another extra option or two. That way you still get all those different quick play modes and those quick play games.
I've always been a proponent of, like, ranked should just be a couple modes. Like, I don't think TDM should be there. I think whatever the esports thing is should be ranked.
How would you feel about rotating ranked playlists so that, like, say one operation we don't have a team deathmatch, we don't have a King of the Hill, say King of the Hill gets replaced with, I don't know, Control or something?
I don't think doing it on an operation basis would work, because that would alienate people for a really long time if they don't like that mode. But if you have every 2 weeks or something, change out like a rotating ranked playlist, that could work. Because then if you don't like the mode, it's like, okay, well, I'll play something else or play quick match for 2 weeks, and then once something I like comes in, go with it.
And that way you can get some of these other beloved game modes like Gridiron and Guardian into ranked for short periods of time.
Yeah.
Actually get some good solid games going.
So I
don't know.
I guess the question I have
never really for me.
is, why do you prefer ranked? Or why would you prefer Gridiron or Guardian in ranked versus quick match?
Again, I like full games, full length games, where all the players are devoted. Of course, not everyone has time for that or, the patience for that. Obviously, but personally, I prefer everybody that's in the game I'm playing to, be 100% there in it and giving it their all. And that's what ranked does more than social. I mean, you do get those social sweaty games every once in a while, don't get me wrong, but overall, the feeling of ranked is just a little bit more intense. Get your adrenaline a little bit more.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm addicted to.
Yeah, and so on the rank side, the two benefits I see are, you have that more quality match. You have the people sticking with it. It's a full lobby and people are sticking in and hopefully not quitting. And then there's the other side where it's people like to go after that rank. They want to chase that master rank. And then for quick match, like, it's the complete opposite, where no one cares about a rank in there, and the match quality kind of is sacrificed a bit. But you do get the more frequent matches. You get a higher match quantity.
Right. And I'll find myself waiting 3 to 5 minutes for a match.
Yeah.
And then being put in a, South Indonesian server.
The thing that I proposed a couple weeks ago, it's been met with some pretty mixed reception, is have a mid ground where you have rolling lobbies that have like a minimum player count to start, so it's basically a full lobby, but there's quit penalties in there. So
people do hate their quit penalties.
Yeah, it's like, I think if you have it's basically a quick match thing, but with quit penalties. That way, cool.
Okay, sorry about that.
Hey, gotta switch the camera's background. But yeah, so basically what I was saying is quick match, but with quit penalties, and then that way, like, you get that match quantity, like all the matches, but the quality is also there. It's not the same level as ranked, but you do get decent quality. That's been met with mixed receptions. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like for a quitter, that'd be a tough one. But
you shouldn't be a quitter.
Right, me personally being a guy that doesn't really ever. No, I never quit. That sounds fair to me. Personally, wouldn't mind seeing something like that implemented into social, so that game modes aren't, you're beating them on the third round out of 4, and then their whole team just quits on you.
Yeah.
It's like, what was the point?
So, Xavier, I guess before you get into this, can you let us know what are you currently playing in terms of Gears?
I actually haven't played Gears in a few days, but I usually play everything. Escape for the dailies, the featured Horde for the dailies, or just having fun in Masters. And mostly I end up playing free for all just for the EC rank points, and I really enjoyed playing Hyper Dodgeball and Control.
Okay. It is free for all basically the only ranked thing that you've been playing?
Well, when I play with friends, we usually go for COD, since TDM I find it really, really stale. It's just a camping match all day, and you can only bring one other friend. And, well, I don't like COD because of the way people can spawn trap you or will control spawns, and it just becomes like a fight between lancering and using smokes to get into close range. At least you can bring a few more friends than usual.
Yeah. So I guess what would you like to see changed for playlist organization?
The modes, especially, because I feel like Koth and TDM can be taken away for something better or more balanced in terms of ranked play. Could be Control, could be Gridiron, could be even Hyper Dodgeball would prove like a challenging mode and different in terms of you won't be able to camp because of how small the spawns are and how quick the gameplay is. And quick play definitely needs some changes. How you did the whole suggestions idea with Razor Edge, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also reminded me of how the playlists were on Gears 4. You had the core and comp, and you had in comp, while it wasn't ranked. Yeah. Warm-up mode was really good because it allowed people to get in that ranked mindset where you could be a little more tryhard and get the tuning down while you were playing without the danger of being demoted or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do y'all play arcade at all?
I do a lot. Well,
Gotcha.
I try to. It's extremely buggy right now, especially if you're playing in a party with a group. It literally becomes unplayable where you can't spawn in at times, or the score doesn't update for you, or the ring doesn't update. But I do like arcade. It's just a nice change of pace. Like, I wouldn't want Gears replaced by arcade, traditional Gears, but it's a nice change of pace from traditional Gears.
Do they have all the new characters added to arcade?
I think they're all in there, but they don't, they haven't been, like, adding new classes for them.
Yeah.
It's just duplicating previous classes.
I haven't played arcade since Op1, so...
Yeah. I don't expect we'll be seeing it in any future titles, and they've basically dropped support for it, but...
So that being said, do you think it's something that should stay in the game if support's completely dropped for it? In a sense?
That's a tough one.
You're someone that plays it, that's why I wanted to hear your opinion about that.
Right.
I'd say it can go. I don't really care much for it.
Yeah, I'm kind of biased in saying that I like it, or that I want it to stay, just because it is such a different experience and it provides that outlet. But at the same time, like, it's always populated when I play it, I guess. So, like, it is always populated, so I don't think it necessarily needs to go.
Fair enough. I was actually going to ask what the bugs were, because I have played it a bit when I have to do the daily challenges, but I never really encountered a bug other than the weird not being able to spawn in.
Yeah, so it happens most of the time to me if I'm playing with a group of friends. So you've seen the scoreboard one where that stays up and you can't spawn in. Then the other one is when you join in progress, sometimes it like picks random people in your party to the score in the top left won't update for you, so you have no idea what the score is. If you're playing King of the Hill or Arcade Blitz, I guess it is, the hill location won't update for you, and you won't see the countdown. So like you'll see the hill in one spot, but it's really on the opposite side of the map, and it just stays there the entire match for you.
Okay.
It's I've passed along a long list of bugs to the coalition on that one. Yeah, so one thing you were kind of getting at, Xavier, for Gears 4, I think, with like comp warm-up, was they had multiple modes merged into a single playlist. And I think that's something that would be nice to see in Quick Match. And get more modes in there without having a bunch of playlists. Like if you put Blitz, King of the Hill, and Control all in one playlist.
Yeah, that's what I was actually thinking. Like, people always ask for single life modes, so why not group them all in one, like, playlist?
Yeah.
And have, like, you can't really group most like Guardian and I don't know. Let's say they brought back Dodgeball and they placed them together. It would be there would be like infinite spawns in different senses. It just feels too different. So I guess they should group the ones that are similar enough and keep special modes like that separate, just so they don't flood the playlist selection and don't group everything just to have everything grouped.
Yeah,
If I'm
like
making any sense.
Gears 4, maybe it was even Gears 5, had a playlist that was King of the Hill plus TDM. And I thought that was a terrible idea, because those are two like polar opposite game types.
Yeah.
They're the two most popular, but they're polar opposites in terms of like who wants to play each. So
Yeah.
putting those together isn't a great idea. So you said you read the thing that I posted about having 3 tiers. You have your quick match, your mid tier, which I call core, and then you have ranked. What do you think of that proposal, or do you see issues with it?
Well, actually, I have it right here just to, not forget anything. And I think it's a good idea, and basically because, while it may seem like, okay, you're separating more playlists and more players, it would be. It's not like people are already, looking for what they. People are already looking for what they want, but it's grouped in a specific way that people can't really play it the way they want to, especially because you can't really take 4 people to rank TDM, or you can't play with your 5 friends on quick play unless it's Guardian, just because that's the only mode available. So having 3 different playlists with each different rules or a different objective would really help people search, have better options to search for, and it would also give TC like a better idea at what people are looking for, or have a better idea at what modes are truly popular, because people are forced to go to some other mode for whatever reason, and that'll make it so seem like that mode is popular just because it's that mode, not because of the reasoning behind the players to go for that mode.
Yeah, and I think a big thing to highlight is, like, we'll take. I had a single life playlist on there that had like Execution and Gridiron in it.
Yeah, work.
So that didn't work out well for them. I think they had it in quick match for a while, and it just wasn't popular enough. But they kind of brush that off as, oh, single life modes aren't popular enough. Perhaps it's more of an issue of single life modes aren't popular when the match quality is so low, like in quick match. So if you put it in something that has quick penalties and you get that match quality up, perhaps it would be more popular.
Yeah, I also think that's a huge reasoning, because what one was it? I don't remember what mode it was that released a few weeks ago. Actually, it was Gridiron again when they finally released it.
Yeah.
But people were not joining matches. You'd find 3v4s or 2v5s, and it would just lower the quality so much that people would quit, and that again would make TC think, oh, the mode is not popular. Let's just take it away again.
Maybe it isn't popular. Like, maybe people don't like it, but it's not really getting its proper chance to like shine.
Yeah, like the results are not as accurate as they could be, all because of people quitting or there not being any penalty at all. But I know that people want to be like, okay, I want to be able to play and have fun, and if I don't like the match, I want to, just quit and join another one. But that takes away, like, if half the population is constantly doing that, no match is going to be full, or it'll be really hard for a full match to be found, and people won't get to experience the mode as properly.
Yeah. I really want to see some form of quick match that Like, quick match needs to have no quit penalties, but I want to see some variation of quick match that does have quit penalties, so that you can play those modes that really depend on that match quality. So you have, okay, I'm playing just casually for fun right now, I'm gonna go in quick match. Hey, I'm playing I'm playing casually, but I want to play one of these really intense modes. You go to that mid tier, and then it's, hey, I'm playing sweaty hardcore right now, I care about ranked. Then you go into ranked.
So basically, you said, I don't know, like 3 categories set of basic, social, the medium, and then the actual rank. How many playlists would you say should be in each one?
I don't have my thing up. Xavier, you said you had it up, right?
Yeah, I have it right here.
In ranked, I had yeah, go ahead. Just what did I have in the categories there?
Okay, ranked, you had Koth or Control, depending if Control was polished or not.
Yeah.
You had Gridiron, 2v2 Nashers, and Free For All.
Okay. Yeah. So the reason I had 2v2 in there is because that's really the only place I could see it fitting. Like, people really do like 2v2, and you can't have it in quick play because it's just 2-person teams. It's going to be the same 2-person teams fighting each other over and over again. You really need to have matchmaking for that. And I didn't want to have free-for-all in ranked, but Pete, the Razor Edge, mentioned, that's one of the only playlists, or it is the only playlist where you don't need to rely on your teammates at all. If you want to prove that you are good at a mode in Gears, Free-for-all is that mode where you don't have to rely on anyone else. It's just showing off what you are capable of, and that's why people like it in ranked. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. I could see Free-for-all staying in ranked.
No, they fixed the ranking issue with it so that, you don't get Masters rank by scoring top 3, top 5 every match for a week. The GP system in Free For All just seems to be a little broken to me right now.
I've
Because
seen
they
a lot of people
designed
say
it for
that.
12. They designed it for 14 people or whatever, not, or was it that? Yeah, as opposed to the actual 8 people. And they haven't corrected it enough at this point so that the rank is still a little shaky, where you don't know if you're gonna actually go up against equal level opponents.
Yeah. So Johnny in chat said Guardian should be ranked. And Johnny, if you could just give a brief explanation as to why you think that'd be good. Well, if you can respond there, Xavier, you want to say what I had in that mid tier?
Yeah. The mid tier would be core, and it would include Guardian, TDM, and single life modes, which are Execution, Gridiron, and Warzone.
Yeah. So for those are things that I thought match quality was very important. If you have imbalanced teams or if you have quitters in Guardian, in TDM, or in single life modes, it just throws things way off. So I didn't want those to be in quick match, just because the match quality is so important for those. But I also didn't feel like those modes necessarily deserved to be in ranked. So it's like, alright, well, if we put them in this core thing, then we can get quick, you can get a bunch of matches in, you can just keep going through, but you can also get that match quality level up higher.
What was the 4 again?
It was a single life mode playlist that had Execution and Gridiron and stuff like that in it, TDM, and Guardian. I think it was just those 3.
Yeah, it's just those 3. And actually, they could. It might make it hard for to make it a rolling lobby type, like what I'm gonna say. But I was thinking, okay, they already have the searching parameters of using the rank of players to pair up the lobby, and it could make it so that the matches are more fair by doing that. So you won't have like a master stack playing against 3 bronze guys and a silver trying to learn the game, which is really important to keep new players around, because I've seen actual level 1 players like trying the game and you'll have hyper bouncing, sniping gods just spawn trapping them, and it's not fun for anyone. So it's even like something like this can impact the way new players play the game and see if they like it or not.
Yeah. I'm reading the chat here. Johnny says he basically wants a 5v5 mode in ranked, so that you can.
I want 5v5 back in every game mode personally, but
Yeah, I mean, I kind of do too, but I'm not as competitive of a player. It's yeah, I get that it's Gears has been 5v5 for a while, so people have their like 5-man squads they want to play with, and then they go into ranked and it's 4v4. But
not even, more like 2 people, because you can't even have 3 of your own teammates.
Yeah. I don't see them, like, just the direction the coalition's going. It seems like they're trying to make all their competitive stuff 4v4. I can't really see them putting.
I'd be fine with it if I could have, my whole team, actual teammates, but that's the biggest thing for me right now.
Yeah.
Just not being able to play with all my friends, having to like pick and choose time slots to play with this person or that person, or then I don't have the time to play with this guy today, and it just, pain.
Yeah, I don't play ranked because if I play ranked, I would want to play with a stack of friends who are all similar skill levels. 1, I struggle to find my friends all on at the same time, and 2, we're all different skill levels, so it doesn't work out too well. Let's see. So, was there anything else on playlist organization that you guys wanted to bring up? Anything you want to see change, or anything that you like about the current system?
Well, I would definitely like to see them try 5v5 again with control and escalation, just because I think one of the main issues on TDM and COD is how, well, people just camp. And in COD, since you don't have to stand in the ring, all 5 people can just make camp around it without having someone like stay back. Well, in control, you have to stay inside the ring, even though it's a big area. So I think trying it with 5 players should like be a better experience than COD was, just to see if it works or not.
Yeah.
Because we do need a few 5v5 modes that could be played in ranked. And same thing with escalation, since there's since there's 3 rings, you can't just stay in one spot all the time. So you'll have people like rotating, maybe one of them's camping on the base while 2 are pushing and 2 are like flanking, which I didn't really notice an issue on the esports matches. Maybe, sometimes they would just stay still for a long time just because they were like in a sort of stalemate, but that still happens in 4v4. So I would really want to see TC like keep trying to see what modes can play with 5v5 and what modes should stay 4v4.
Yeah.
Not just faster than as a 4v4, and actually like going through and seeing, what the play style should be for that game mode, whether it deserves a team of 5v5 or a team of 4v4.
And it sounds like with the next update, or maybe it might be the next update, or maybe Op7, they're going to revert all of the quick match stuff to 5v5. I think they said that on one of the recent streams. It's quick match is going to be 5v5 and ranked will be 4v4. I think they're trying to keep ranked more in line with what they're doing with esports now, and esports has moved to 4v4.
Yeah, as long as quick play stays 5v5, I think that's a huge thing actually.
Yeah. And so Johnny's mentioning people quitting out of the Guardian matches when he's running with his friends. And I think that's where what I called core would really come into play. It's it's a quick match thing that has quit penalties. It's that mid tier. It doesn't start the match until it's at least like, let's say 4v4, balanced teams, and then there's quit penalties if someone leaves.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, yeah, people might complain about there being a quit penalty, but those modes really shine when the match is full and it gets intense. I've had like 20-minute or 30-minute Guardian matches, and that's like the most fun I had in the game when it's so close. Because just when one person's missing from the team, it just changes the whole balance of the match.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do agree with that, like quit penalty thing. As long as it's not too harsh, but it's just harsh enough to remind people that they should stay in the game.
Personally, I like how they've been doing it, where it makes you play social matches to get back to the game.
Like I think if you have ranked, if they keep ranked, then you have ranked with the community service type thing. Then in core, if you quit, it's just community service. There's no impact on rank or anything. And then quick match, you can quit whenever you want. So you asked if the player base is large enough to support a core mode. So I guess my answer to that would be, I think yes, because it's not taking Guardian in quick match and core and ranked. It's taking Guardian and taking it out of quick match and putting it in core. So it's really the same number of playlists that we have. It's just adding additional quit penalties and min player counts to Guardian, the existing Guardian. And single life modes and stuff. So we can circle back to that. But Xavier, did you want to talk about this kind of goes into the player count thing, map design. It's one of the things that you said you wanted to discuss a little bit here, and it's both in the aspect of having returning maps, imported maps coming into Gears 5, as well as just the way new maps are designed with their layouts and their aesthetics.
Yeah, I always get with or complain about this to my friends, how map design, including like the weapons layout, including spawns, including just the amount of cover, like everything changes the flow of the match so much. Like, okay, you got Nexus, for example, a map that everyone loved. It looks amazing. But one of my issues is how the boom shot is placed on like that little house on the side. Okay, let's say you're playing TDM and you manage to get the boom shot. All you need to do is grab it and stay there. You don't really have to push out. You don't have to do anything, because that's already a base that the enemies have to push out, have to like rush in to get you. But you have the boom shot, and nothing's gonna beat the boom shot unless they literally grab every single other power weapon and try to flush you out. And it'll still be a really tough match for them to get into. And it just turns into this fight of who can camp better, I guess. It just turns stale.
You're talking about TDM?
Yeah.
Yeah. I question if that's an issue with Nexus, or if that's more of just an issue with the TDM in general.
Yeah, it might be, TDM does have like that issue with many maps, but that's because that's the most effective way to play it. Like, if you have the boom shot, you don't have any reason to move out. So, okay, imagine they changed where the Turbo and boom shot are, so people have like a more direct fight against the boom shot.
Or just no instant kill weapons in team deathmatch.
That could be, but it also like takes away from
No, but you just mentioned switching torque bow and boom shot. I hadn't thought of that, but that would be pretty interesting, because I feel like right now the torque bow is in a more vulnerable open space, so that's typically where you'd want the most powerful weapon to be.
Yeah.
And like if you switch them and torque bow's in that building, you pick that up, you still have to fight your way out of the building because the torque bow, like right now, the boom is so easy to get out of the building with if you want to get out. Or if you want to camp in there, it's easy to get kills for people who rush in. With the torque bow, it's harder. You have to be a bit more skilled.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like I think every single aspect of the map like can change the entire flow of the game. Because just with that little change, you're forcing, okay, the guy that has boom shot needs to either go like push to help his allies, or like move back and try to go camp in turbo, but he is like more vulnerable than he was than just picking up the boom shot in a safe spot and just staying there. Same with let's say Spay or Bunker, which I hate the salvo. I think it's like a horrible weapon. But in Bunker, the only thing you have that can kill the salvo if he's camping out there would be to headshot him with a mark set, and by the time you do, you're dead because
or you can flush him out with grenades, I guess.
Or the GL.
Yeah, but since let's say you do have the GL, which you would need to catch the salvo like with his pants down, because by the time you shoot the GL,
Right.
it makes a huge sound, and the guy can just drop the salvo and roll out. But my point is that, okay, the guy with the salvo just picked it up and has this beautiful spot where he can see the whole map. He can hear everyone. He can just choose to flush people out, trying to cam in corners, because the salvo is an explosive weapon. It has no drawbacks, 10 shots, doesn't have like a wind-up animation. You can wall bounce with that thing. If they try to change the positions of the guns, or just change the guns themselves, it would again change the flow of the match. Okay, the guy that maybe the salvo is on drop shot or GL, so the guy has to grab the salvo, and their team would have to push towards the bunker.
That might be a bit much. I think possibly better than that would be putting salvo directly under salvo, where does frags spawn right now?
Nothing spawns there. Frags spawn.
Or there's a hill there, right? Directly under the salvo.
Yeah, hill there.
Yeah, if the salvo could spawn there, then you pick it up. You still have to get up to the vantage point in order to use it effectively.
Yeah, I haven't really thought like every map and aspect regarding the weapons, but yeah, I think TC should be able to play around with the weapon spawns or the weapons layout, because sometimes it just makes it can make the matches more interesting depending on the weapons there are.
And they have done that a little bit. So I know weapon swaps have changed since launch, and then especially Gridiron. They did completely new weapon layouts for Gridiron on most maps actually. But yeah, so you've brought up a couple of interesting points, and I think people should continue to point those out. I don't know how active the coalition is continuing to be like, oh, let's make sure these are the best, but I think if people point them out to the coalition, maybe they'll look at some of those and fix it, or fix it if it actually does play better.
I was actually going to ask you to, what do you think makes a map good, or what are your favorite maps and why?
You need elevation first and foremost, different levels, add more dynamic gameplay. One of my favorite things on a Gears map is when it's got like an upstairs level, downstairs level, and in between areas.
I think
like Blood Drive or Bunker.
I hate Blood Drive.
I hate it too.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking Forge, but
yeah, honestly, it changes. It changes for me all the time, depending on what mode I'm playing and what mood I'm in. I'm one of those players who some days I'll log on and I'm using my Lancer non-stop and just crossing people, and other days it's nope, I'm sticking with my Nasher and no reason to pick anything else up.
Okay.
I think aesthetic has a lot to do with it, though.
No, for sure.
I think so. I'd say probably my biggest thing though is the routes on the map. A lot of maps are set up with it's almost like 3 lanes in one direction and 3 lanes in the other direction, and they have those intersections. And being able to like pick Vasgar for example, that's a pretty easy one to visualize. Like you have your left lane, your right lane, the middle lane, and then you have like your top lane, your middle lane, and your bottom lane on there. And being able to cross between lanes is a really big deal for me. Especially if you play something like King of the Hill, you don't want to have to run around the entire map in order to get between lanes or get from one point to another. It's I think Exhibit, for example, is one that does not allow for easy transition between lanes because of the separated up top area. I'm not a huge fan of Exhibit because of that. It makes the navigation a lot harder, and you stay out of the action for longer.
Yeah, that also reminded me a bit of canals. But yeah, Vasgar's a really good example. I never thought of like 3 lanes over 3 lanes like that.
Yeah, if you look at most Gears maps, a lot of them have that that 3-lane system in them. Not all of them, but a lot of the maps have 3 lanes in the X direction, 3 lanes in the Y direction.
Okay, yeah, I should really give that a thought. But yeah, just like you said, like okay, Exhibit, you think like it would be a bad map for Koth, for example.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. So one, because of the difficulty to transition between some of the lanes, depending on where you spawn, it can take you a while to get to the hill, and you feel like you're out of the action for longer. And then also because of the difficulty to transition between lanes, it creates more choke points that make it easier for a team to defend once they capture the hill.
Okay, yeah, so that was my point in saying how the map can change how the entire match goes. Some maps are amazing for certain modes, like Canals. I think it's a really good map for single life modes.
Yeah.
But I hate it for free for all and Koth because how much you're out of the action when you spawn at times, and how long it takes, like maybe to flank a certain point or to run back. Another example. Well, Gears it's a cover-based shooter that everyone knows cover is not like the best defense in this one. And if you take bunker, if you try to push towards the bunker area, and you have these little like squares containers to help you push, they don't really cover much. If you have 2 people answering you from like each corner, there's always like a certain body part that's out of cover, and you'll just get Lancer down.
As my friend Schwartz likes to say, I love how Gears is a cover-based shooter where the cover is so pointless.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the amount of cover changes entirely how you need to play that little part. Like, okay, you need to either flank or throw a smoke or rush with people, but you can't do much by yourself. It takes away it gives like incentive for team play, but it also like takes away from the player themselves, I feel.
Yeah, it's hard because you need to design a map that can be played at that high like competitive level where the pros know every single angle and they know how to cross, so you're really exposed. But it also needs to play at the casual level where it's just fun for someone to run around who doesn't know about all of the angles. It's a really hard balance to strike, I guess.
Another example I had is Reclaimed. Let's say, okay, it's a TDM match, and your team lost a push to Tri-Shot and Sniper.
Right.
you can't do anything. Let's just say that only 2 people on the enemy team are alive, barely, but they managed to grab those weapons. They have complete control over the map. There's no like a path you can take to completely defend yourself from the tri-shot kills you in 4 bullets, or constantly evade sniper while trying to push for either both of them. You might not be in this situation a lot, since it's sort of like a really negative situation where you lost everything, but the map design itself doesn't give like much opportunity to fight back against the power weapons they have there.
I feel like if you lose both of those battles, that your team just deserves to lose that round, basically. Well, unless you're talking King of the Hill, in which case the other team deserves to get those points until they run out of ammo there.
Yeah, but it's understandable. Okay, you lost both matches. You deserve, to be punished. But how punished do you deserve to be for that? Okay, you just lost 2 encounters in the first minute, and that might decide the whole round.
Right.
Like there's a few weeks ago I played it in reclaiming both Koth and TDM. And yeah, in Koth you can still make a comeback. But in TDM you have to be completely coordinated with your team, and if it's ranked, you only have 2 people in the stack. And you might have 2 other players that don't really listen to you or are not well coordinated, so you get punished for 10 lives if the other team's good.
I feel like that's more of an issue with TDM though.
And also just the ranked matchmaking in general.
I just TDM doesn't work well right now. I don't feel like it should be in ranked. Like you said, the initials in TDM, if you lose both initials there, then you basically just lost the round. That's why I will always select a single life mode over TDM. Just because the initials are the thing that matter. I would rather play a bunch of initials over and over again rather than play an initial and then have to sit the rest of the match getting wrecked or just getting easy kills on the other team while I wait for the next initial to start.
Yeah, but I completely agree with you, which is why I brought the whole map design thing. Like, some maps just don't work for certain modes, and if a mode has so many issues, it should not be in ranked. Like, it's not a competitive mode by itself, and it's even like if you try to balance it out with players of similar skill, it's just a flawed mode that can be easily, abused and made boring.
It's weird, it has so many flaws and I don't think it should be in ranked, but when it's not in ranked, there's an incredibly large fan base who wants it there. And it's like, alright, well, do we just cave? Do we put it in ranked just because there's a lot of people who want to play it in ranked?
You ask these same people if they'd rather see Guardian in ranked or Gridiron.
Yeah.
Because I would take one of those 2 above Team Deathmatch any day.
Yeah, I mean, but do people actually want to play TDM as a ranked mode, or they just want to play, TDM at a higher level? Which, if we added the playlist you said, that added TDM with what?
Yeah, where you have those quit penalties and stuff, but it's not necessarily ranked.
Yeah, it might, be nice for some people that want TDM just, because they like the mode by itself. Because I don't think a mode, even if it's, really popular, should stay unbalanced as a ranked mode.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But yeah, that was pretty much everything I had to say on the map design thing. Like, there's a lot of things one should take into consideration regarding the mode and the map, like the Nexus example.
Yeah. No, I really like that Nexus example. I'd love to see how that map plays if you swap Boom and Torque, for example. Um, and yeah, the not being able to play TDM with your friends in quick match, I can sort of understand why they have the 2-player limit thing. In ranked, it's ranked. Why do you have a cap on the number of players you can have in your party? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Alright, let's move on. The last main topic I have here is Op6 Drop 2, which was just announced this past week. Slayer, let's start with you. What did you think of the announcements for Op6 Drop 2?
Well, like I said earlier, I've been playing a lot more ranked this season, so I'm hoping that this is what pulls me back into PvE a little bit. I think PvE probably has more longevity within the game than PvP side of things. So I do feel like them, working more on that and focusing more on that going forward is probably a smarter bet. And they really need to make sure that these modes that they're bringing to Horde are play tested first, and definitely more time tried than some of the ones they brought in before, where you play a match or two and it's like, this is kind of pointless, kind of lame.
Like what? I guess.
What was it? The Escape from Kadar.
I really like that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh man,
and it wasn't and it wasn't even because of the locust. It was just because it was so different. Like it was so melee heavy and stuff. It just felt different, I guess.
I mean, yes, it was different, but it was a lot of the same stuff. So after wave 10, of the first time playing it, and you're getting the same wave of enemies, it just kind of, there's no diversity to it, and that's why I'm hoping that with this new update, what they say about having the different locust enemy types that can have different things going on with them throughout the game. I feel like that's a great step in the right direction, opposed to having 100 of these locust and underwear running at you with chainsaws.
Yeah, I think so. What you're getting at is more of you want replayability on the events.
Yes, and I want events that they keep around. Events that they can put out and then we can play in our custom matches, kind of like how Gears 4 did it, where we had.
Don't know why they haven't done that yet.
Yeah, exactly. I did.
I do find it strange. So a big part of replayability is how all of the maps play differently. And I find it odd that in a recent stream they talked about how they've heard the feedback on Escape from Kadar, for example. It was only on Reactor, and people got bored of that. So they're going to try and make sure that future events are playable on multiple maps or all maps. And they said that, and then a couple weeks later they announced Nexus Siege, which is only on Nexus, it looks like. So I'm hoping this is the last event that is stuck on a single map. I don't know.
Because I get them trying to keep a theme, but you gotta at least have a couple maps if you're gonna do it that way to keep that replayability, or like I said, put it in custom so we can play on whatever map we wish.
Yeah. So from an Op6 Drop 2 perspective, you're mostly looking forward to that PvE stuff that they're adding.
Yeah, and having a lot more replayability there, because at this point it is boring going in playing the same 50 12 waves over and over again. I have my characters pretty much up there. It really gives you not many reasons to come back once you hit that point.
Yeah. So Xavier, what about you? What are your thoughts on the Op6 Drop 2 announcements?
Well, I would also say I'm looking forward to the PvE aspect since they didn't add shells in the end. I enjoyed the whole reveal because Prescott's been a favorite and the new voice actor is great. But the trailer was not anything special at all. Like, okay, just show the characters. Could have been done with a few images as well. It was weird to me that I didn't prepare any trailer for the whole PvE thing, since it seemed like a huge thing and it could have been done amazingly.
Do you think this is the earliest we've ever gotten a trailer, though, for any kind of operation stuff?
Yeah, I mean, so
True.
they've definitely heard the feedback from dropping the ball in the past few operations and stuff. So it was nice to get the trailer earlier. But
That's true.
like you said, there's been a lot of feedback about this PvE thing is huge. Why wasn't this in the trailer at all?
Right.
Yeah, now that you mentioned how the reveal was so early, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and assume there might be drop another trailer on Monday when everything gets revealed. But I always end up defending to see, in the sense that they're always busy since they're working on like 5 different projects. But what I hope happens with this Locust and Lambent event is that instead of just making it an event, they add it to the main horde.
I mean, it sounds like they're going to, right? Like,
Yeah.
in the thing with Michael Shannon, Shawnee asked that question because he knew people wanted to know, and Michael's like, well, it would be a waste, or it would be a shame if we wasted all this time putting them in for this event, for it just to be an event, right? So, like, I fully expect them to... Maybe it's going to be in there for the event, and then they will spend a little bit of time working out any bugs. Maybe there's some balance issues with certain enemies, and then they'll throw it into the normal thing.
Yeah, I like to think these events are like tests because God knows they get a lot of feedback and they need to like listen carefully to every piece since it's so different, since Gears has like different types of players. But I want to imagine that they're learning and using Gears 5 as well as they can to make perfect Gear 6. Like, okay, people of the variety, people like this side of this type of map, people like this event, and they're like finally tuning and Gears 5 for the moment while trying to take out new things. Like, maybe we'll see in the end that they might add all of this when Gears 5 is done and try to test out how the variety goes, how it plays in different maps, and see if what they like in the end and what they don't. Because I think they have a little more freedom right now to test all of these things out and see what should make it to Gear 6.
Yeah, and I think a big example of that is something I'm surprised you guys didn't mention, and that's Execution 2.0.
Oh, yeah.
So Execution 2.0 is basically, it's like Trials of Osiris from Destiny, basically. Which, it's interesting that what they are doing for Execution 2.0 is verbatim what people have been asking for years now. Like, basically ever since Trials in Destiny 1 came out, like, people have been asking for this exact thing. I'm glad they're doing it, I'm just surprised it took them this long to do it. So another thing I find interesting is there's all this talk about the Horde thing's the main thing, right? We're not really seeing anyone talk about the map Tomb or the characters. I guess you mentioned Prescott, but it's interesting that when Drop 1 came out, they had some events and they were cool things, but it was way overshadowed by only one map and the 3 characters. And now we're getting 2 characters and 1 map. So it's like, it's less stuff this time, but I guess people have lower expectations maybe. And the events are just so much bigger and better this time that that's overshadowing the fact that we're only getting 1 map.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, you go ahead.
You can go.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say that if they had released a ported map instead of a new map, people would have been pissed off.
Yeah.
I myself would have been like really disappointed if it had been like, okay, let's have Dawn that looks exactly the same as Gears 4, but it's a whole new map. It has Gears 1 vibes, and people are like, okay, that's cool. So no negativity there. They just got to see how the map looks. But so far, I think like it's a great concept, and it goes well with the operation, which happened as well with Operation 5, with Nexus and the Lambent coming back. And Prescott, I think, is a fan favorite, and to even please the tactics players, they got the Disciple. So that part's okay. People are like, okay, they did this right, but I think they were not expecting something as big as the Horde event, which is why they're focusing on it.
Yeah. No, it's nice that really this has been received very well from the fans. It's just interesting that the thing that was so negative last time is now basically just being pushed aside. I have seen a few people complain though that it's okay, we're only getting 2 maps for this operation.
See, it is a little upsetting, especially with that original trailer that they gave us, with the whole more content. But you look at it, the tour is the exact same size, the amount of characters they released this season is the exact same amount. That really nothing has changed. The amount of content coming out every week is the same. This more content has kind of been ludicrous, but that's one thing. Now, the content coming through, as long as it is quality content, like we said, we haven't been able to see this new map, but what was the original map drop for this Ops Spire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it's not really a great map either. But Op 5 had some good maps to it, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
even though I don't know. I'd say I don't mind them only giving us these 2 maps in operation as long as they are, quality maps.
Yeah.
And
I think
I was a little iffy about Spire at first, but after playing some, verses on it and, some Horde and getting a feel for it, I can appreciate it. Do I wish they would have done something new or different? Yeah, but I can appreciate their rework of Spire into the game.
yeah. Yep. Overall, I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I don't know what I want to do first when the drop comes out. Do I want to go play Execution, or do I want to go try out the Horde thing?
Right, and it's nice that they're giving you all these different new stuff to try out. Makes you actually excited about the game again.
Yeah. So one thing I will say, this kind of goes back to one of the discussions we were having earlier, is I don't know how well the Execution thing's going to do, because it's a special event quick play thing. It's quick play, so you're gonna have unbalanced teams and quitters and stuff, which does not bode well for single life mode. I mean, it's a special event they're trying to show off, but I don't know how they could have handled it. They probably should just put it in ranked and like, hey, it's only here for the second half of the season, but here's a new ranked mode to try out. Putting it in quick play is just it's gonna die off pretty quickly, I think. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it will die off quickly.
Yeah. The good thing is that they're gonna add medals, which always brings all sort of players into it, and there's a lot of loud people always asking for execution. So I'm sure that there'll be at least a few full lobbies, and as a silver lining, people can clutch in those modes. So even if it's like a 5v3 or a 3v4, sometimes it might get intense, especially with the the little objective in the middle, or well, wherever the ring appears.
Yeah.
Which might make for some nice moments to make people be like, okay, I liked execution, or I didn't like execution, but I like this, because I really like the fact that they knew that execution was pretty much a dead mode, Like, okay, people asked for it, but it was not popular. But they still try to please those fans because they know that there's people out there that want to play it. So I think it was, even though people might not mention it much because of the whole PvE thing, I really like the fact that they're trying to better these modes. Like COD, we have Control, which I think is better. And now Execution is trying to evolve.
Yeah. Subscorpion says he hates the PvP medals because people keep you from completing them. I used to hate them, but they've changed it to, like, I don't know if it's winning a certain number of rounds, or maybe if even just, like, completing a certain number of rounds, completing a certain number of matches, you have to get a certain number of kills, stuff like that. It's really not that bad. They used to have, like, win this many matches. That was bad, because then you had to rely on your teammates.
Yeah.
But when they don't have the win matches thing, I'm happy.
Yeah,
these situations, AI are your best friend with getting those medals done.
Yeah, which I mean, it's unfortunate though that.
Yeah, right. It's a stupid thing that's how it goes, but
like, so if you want to really experience the mode the way it should be, play it in the first week that it's out, and you'll probably find a lot of full lobbies of people playing Execution, or the bunny hunt thing. If you want to get the medals easily, go in near the end of the event. Like, if you want those bunny hunt medals, go in right now and play it, because most people have gotten their medals and dipped out of the mode, and there's going to be a lot of bots where you just get easy kills.
I got my bunny skin this morning with Ghost of Delta and AC. We popped on, and it was nothing but AI most of the morning.
Yeah. If you hop on near the end of an event, it's going to be all AI. You can get easy medals.
Yeah.
So also, today is Ghost of Delta 2's birthday, so a quick little shout out to him. The amazing forum moderator.
Yep.
I will see him around. But yeah, I want to see how Execution 2.0 goes, especially because if it's well received, TC might try to do the same with other modes or try to experiment with the modes.
There's been pros talking about wanting to see it in esports. There's been, like, I think Kenny Bounce was saying he wanted to see Control and Execution 2.0.
It would be nice if they would switch up some of the esports game modes, because,
I mean, so
the last 5 years.
They had a Gridiron tournament when Gridiron first came out. They had a control tournament a little while back. Sounds like they're going to be having an Execution 2.0 tournament. I'm just hoping that it runs well and that they can stick with it.
Well, I wouldn't mind watching Gridiron esports either.
Yeah. So why is PvP prioritized over PvE? I want to say it's not, but that's hard to say.
It's because they focused less on PvE for so long, and now they're trying to course correct, what I'd say.
I don't know if that's true either. I think it's because they made PvE, and they're trying to make it so that it has replayability and it's sort of self-sustaining. And they kind of got it to a place that they like, and now they just need to make these minor changes to it.
Well, let's not forget that they did just change the entire system 2 ops ago.
Yeah,
they did,
like,
a lot of new stuff.
I mean, post-launch, there's been 2 significant changes, and that's the change to the ranking system, which is a PvP thing, and a change to the class system, which is a PvE thing. And then they also just added a bunch of locusts to PvE. I think the biggest thing is just that it's in a pretty good spot. The number of changes they need on PvE isn't significant. And I don't feel like they're really doing too much to emphasize PvP. Like, new maps are coming out, but that affects both. When they have a new PvE event, they also have a new PvP event. So those are coming at the same time. That I I hear PvP people say that PvE is being prioritized, and I see PvE people say PvP is being prioritized. So I think it's really just a matter of neither is getting the level of attention that people want.
Yeah, I think they're trying to find a balance, but it's hard because, the Hives just basically got ditched. And while PvE can have like huge events like Escape from Kadar or Nexus Siege, you can't really do something that big on PvP unless it's like a completely new mode. Because maps are for both modes, and TC doesn't have the manpower to properly do huge things on both. So I think they're just trying to do what they can. They just got Execution 2.0, which might not be a big thing for some, but a huge thing for others, while PvE just got the Nexus Siege thing. But I can see in the past, like most PvP events are like, okay, bunny hunt for, I don't know, the fifth time. Hyper dodgeball again after a couple of months. Like it's the same stuff, but it at least tries to keep the experience fresh by rotating through these game modes. While PvE is a little easier to try and do something big, like I said.
Yeah. I said, why do PvP players look down to PvE players? They're playing different games almost. Like, I'm not gonna say one is harder than the other. Like, PvP players look down because they look at it as you're just fighting bots. You're just fighting bots in PvE. But some of the bots, like the number of bots that you're facing and stuff like that, it can get very difficult. It's like some of the I'll use Destiny 1.0. Some of the raids that I did in that, or Dark Souls, which is a PvE game, like some of that's been the most difficult things I've done in gaming. I don't see too many PvE people looking down on PvP people, but I do see PvP people looking down on PvE, and I don't think it's justified. Mandatory crossplay, please. Do you guys think mandatory crossplay is coming? Series X can perform like a PC now, basically, and they're going to implement the field of view slider soonish. I don't see any reason not to force crossplay.
Do you want to take this, Slayer?
What do you guys think?
I think I play with PC players all the time, and they don't really see an advantage, so I don't find it being implemented at all as something forced.
I don't think it will be implemented, even though I think it should be, because people are just
stubborn.
They hate the idea of playing with PC players.
That's the only reason I could see it not being implemented.
I mean, yeah.
People won't. It won't be received well. It won't be. The majority of players are console players, and the majority of the console players are not going to receive it well, probably. So they're not going to want to do something that a majority of their player base won't receive well. It should be done. I'm a console player, and I think it should be done. But I know it's not going to be received well.
Yeah, every time, for just as an example, if you go on Reddit and post something regarding crossplay, and you're, not against it, you'll usually end up getting downvoted to hell. Because console players really don't want to face any sort of PC player. They might. The Series X is stronger than my PC, like 120 frames. It has the same input delay, as far as I know. You can put on a mouse and a keyboard in there. The only argument I feel that was valid was a FOV slider and maybe motion blur. But some other people said that it didn't matter much. And now
the
that
fact
that's
that a lot of PC people play on monitors opposed to TVs, where a lot of Xbox people will play TVs, and just the input lag of that and what you play on also affects a lot of
Yeah.
people. And with all these 27-inch 4K monitors that the PC people have, they're obviously going to have much better shots and everything else lined up.
You can get really nice quality TVs now, but they're more expensive. They're starting to come down in price.
Well, I know my biggest issue for a good bit was playing on a 65-inch TV and just having that, it was not crazy, but there was lag input that was definitely noticeable when moving sticks and whatnot.
yeah.
The upsurge in cheaters lately. I think recently the game was cracked or something like that. That's what spawned all the leaks that came out a while back. So I imagine there are a lot more cheaters coming in, but if they're caught, or if they're reported, the coalition are banning them. So that's nice. I know there's ban evasion type things, but
Yeah, I've also found that people are just like when they see a PC icon on the lobby, they assume it's gonna be like this dude using a mouse and a keyboard and will not miss any shot, and that he'll have But the PC players I know, like most of them use a controller, and some they're not as good as console players make them out to be. Like having a mouse or a PC icon is not going to automatically make you win matches. I think that maybe the average PC player might be better just because console players are there's a large amount of them, and some are just casual players that are playing on Game Pass, or just trying to chill on their couch and have a good match. But
yeah, I mean, if you're playing Gears 5 on PC, it's probably because you're a pretty hardcore gamer.
Yeah, usually most played like since long ago, and are vets, how people say. But yeah, I don't think just having the mouse automatically should make people like hate them, because I use a controller myself, and I've gotten my ass kicked by a lot of console players. I even found a few pros on COD that I couldn't even touch.
Yeah. And yeah, Johnny, I get that point about on console, you're not really going to be seeing cheaters much. Not nearly at the rate that you would see it on PC. I don't play on PC, so I don't know what the rate is like, but I can. It's certainly increased, but I don't think the rate's really high enough on PC to use that as a strong turnoff for forced crossplay.
I've actually found only 2 cheaters on Gears 4, like all through the life of Gears 4, and I think maybe 1 or none in Gears 5, and I have 1,000 hours registered in the game.
Yeah.
So you won't also find many PC players, but I think like the positive aspect of forcing crossplay outweighs the negatives.
Yeah.
Since people always complain that there's not enough players, and they're by not wanting to turn on crossplay or like pushing some of the players away, it's just making that more obvious.
Yeah. Going back to this other question, I don't think that the Coalition is refusing Swarm and Locust to be playable in PvE because they want to keep that exclusive to PvP. I'm pretty sure they said that when the game launched, they didn't allow it because they didn't want it to be confusing to your teammates. They didn't want... Well, when the game launched, it was class-based, but they also said, like, hey, we don't want a swarm drone running around here and people confusing it for an enemy. I mean, it's not like the greatest excuse. They definitely could do it. But that's what they thought when they launched the game. Changing things after launch takes a lot more work than changing things before launch. And they probably just didn't find it worth their time to change it once the game launched. I think that's it. It's not worth changing. It's not worth the time to change the menus and the UI. And it's also not worth... There's a lot of voice lines and GUDs and animations and stuff they would need to do and rig all of the Swarm and Locust characters for in order to make them playable in PvE. Let's see. Do you have anything else that you guys want to chat about before we'll wrap up here shortly?
Just like time in Gears 5. I think I got 63 days.
You have 63 days?
Yeah.
I don't know how much playtime. You probably have way more than me. I've been playing a lot of other stuff recently.
I was gonna just say regarding the whole Swarm and Locust thing on PvE that I just realized, or someone told me that in Gears 4 you can use the DBs on Horde. Because...
No, because they were enemies.
Yeah, because TC said that the players would think they would get confused. And, I guess it's a decent reasoning, not the best, but I don't think, you getting confused and, shooting a boom shot or trying to roll away from danger is gonna, that much of a deal to do that, but I just think they didn't, have that idea in mind and they didn't want to change it. But yeah, I can see them trying to do that on Gears 6 or even in the end of Gears 5, considering Jack can hijack enemies. And, they have this blue queue around them. I think that if they intensify that, like on Tac-Com, you have like a glow around your allies. It should be, pretty obvious, who your ally is. And it would also let people, use all these skins that are amazing, but they can't use because they play PvE. It would just be better in every way.
Yeah. I think it would be nice, and I think they should consider it for future games, but it's probably a lot of work to change now.
Yeah.
So there's a question, how much longer do you think they're going to stretch out the Gears 5 lifespan? I'll let you guys go first on that. So, how much longer do you think we're going to keep getting support like this?
My guess is things will end on Operation 10. I think that would be the number they're trying to go for, considering the amount of characters and maps missing. But because it'll also hopefully give them enough time to work on Gear 6, since I would hate for them to release Gear 6 in a year in the same state Gears 5 was in, with 5 players on each side and 8 maps and just lacking a lot of content. I really want them to stretch out Gears 5's life with a little more love and modes, just so Gear 6 has a better development time.
Yeah. Slayer, are you there? Your camera broke up there.
Froze.
Yeah.
He was moving to another room or something.
Yeah, alright. Well, while we wait for him to get back, I guess. I don't know what a count. I haven't really thought about the number of operations. I think September-October timeframe. Maybe. I don't think it's going to go through the end of the year. We have Infinite launching holiday this year. There's not going to be too much of a point in Gears trying to compete with Infinite by Gears putting out some additional maps and characters, trying to compete with Infinite like a brand new game. The ROI there is just going to be so small during that time frame that I don't think they're really going to do too much there. Oops. Looks like we
Yeah, his phone died.
Okay. Xavier, they can see part of you right now.
What?
They can only see part of you right now on the stream.
Oh.
I'm trying to fix your camera a little bit here. Alright. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to go through the end of the year. I'm guessing September-October time frame. My guess is that we will get two ports, or we'll get 2 maps per operation. One at the start, one at the mid, and it will be either 2 ports or 1 port, 1 new. And they're just going to keep porting over the Gears 4 maps for any time that they can't bring over a new one. Maybe they'll have a large drop near the end that's like, hey, here's the rest of the ported maps. Because they're going to need to sustain Gears 5 for a while until Gears 6 comes out or whatever's next. So if they do a big bulk drop of here's a bunch of ported maps, it can help hold people over. And then I think once Gears 6 or whatever the next Gears is gets announced, they're probably going to come back and have a little bit of support for Gears 5 for just a little bit. Probably they had the Road to Gears 5 challenges in Gears 4. They'll probably do something similar to that for Gears 6 whenever that's coming out.
Yeah, I actually forgot about Infinite, but it makes sense that maybe they'll drop the big operations and just make a small updates, like make an announcement that okay, we're not gonna make huge themed operations, but we'll keep trying to drop a few.
That's what I thought they were doing, man.
Missing characters and maps. Like okay, we still don't have Oscar, we don't have Hannah, we don't have Tak. We might get Ukon. The Savage Locusts. There's still like a few things they can add, but it's not going to be as impactful as Operation 5 was.
Yeah, I definitely thought they were going to just drop the whole Operation thing altogether. But nope, apparently not.
Yeah, I remember your theory when you said that when the video launched, I think it was Operation 6 or last True Operation or something.
Yeah, I thought Op6 was going to come out, and that was like, alright guys, Op6 is what it's going to be until the end, and we're just going to start doing monthly updates. Which is essentially what they're doing, but now they're still calling them operations.
Yeah, I actually think that since it might seem lacking content, even though the operations are shorter, so I think it's actually more content, but people don't see it that way. Like the game is in maintenance mode, or they probably have a lot of maps lined up. They're trying to work, and as soon as it's done, just like ship them out on that half operation drop. And since the wording on the what's it called, the This Week in Gears post said that they're gonna move to this operation where they would drop at least two characters in one map each mid-op, makes me think that they're gonna make at least Operation 7. Like the wording said they were trying to use this approach from now on, not for this operation only.
Right. Yeah. So they gotta at least do the same thing for Operation 7. I still can't believe that they're sticking with the Operation theme or whatever, but okay. So xXARslayer's his phone died.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna have him here. I think we've been going for an hour and a half now. Let's try and wrap this up a little bit.
Sounds good.
Right. Do you have any, I guess, closing comments that you wanna throw out there?
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm really looking forward to the PvE thing. It looks really fun, and the whole idea of locusts grabbing weapons from the floor, I think, will add a lot of variety, and that it's a great, even if a small detail like that can change a lot of the mode. Like imagine just an enemy grabbing breaker maze you dropped, and having them rush you changes the flow of the match. And I think that these little details that they keep adding are, despite the fact that people might complain about the lack of content, they're actually, really trying. And then, it's amazing that at this point they're still trying to ditch something as impressive as that. So even though I might, not playing Gears as much as I would like to, it still, has a passion that keeps you coming back.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting too much. I expected Tomb. I expected that to be the one map we got. I expected 3 characters. We got 2. Okay. And then I suspected Locust, a few Locusts, a handful of them, for a special event. I was not expecting Execution 2.0. So my expectations were, I thought, reasonable, but also low, and I've been very pleasantly surprised. and I'm definitely looking forward to Op6 Drop 2. And not only does it seem like they are making moves in the right direction, but like the things they're doing, it seems like they are doing them the right way. They're bringing some Locust in, and they gave them their own UI. They did a bunch of them. They also threw in the Lambent. The like Execution 2.0 is exactly what people have been asking for. So they're not just doing the right things, they are doing them the right way, it seems. So it has me really excited.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, xXARslayerXxLinks can't say anything, so that's gonna wrap it up. Be off not doing these for a couple of weeks, but I'll try and get a new panel of some fresh faces in a few weeks. So Onyx Xavier Oni Xavier. I keep wanting to say Onyx because I see Onyx. Oni
yeah,
Xavier.
That's how
Oni
I actually
Xavier.
wanted people to, read the name, but everyone just calls me Oni or Xavier, and I'm like, everything just failed.
Yeah. So Onyx Xavier. Thanks for joining, man. Arslayer, if you're watching this later, thanks for joining. All of you guys in the chat, we had some great discussion here. So thanks for your contributions, everyone. And we'll see you next time. Later.